Good Sunday morning. This is Dee with Critical Break, and I've got a lot to share today. Even doing a midweek stream doesn't seem to suffice these days. Anyway, I want to welcome everyone. Much to cover today, but I want to start with the preface to the stream. The work that I do here is for all religions, all races, all backgrounds, no matter what your beliefs are. They are my messages from Adonai and Gabriel, and I'm sharing my experiences with them and my life. I am documenting my journey in this realm we call planet Earth, Gaia. I call it the Holodeck. You all knew when you were children of pure soul spirit before all the trauma of this place that something was off, something just didn't feel right. You were told to stop daydreaming. You were told to stop asking why. This is part of the virus wanting to keep you from remembering who you truly are. Beings created in the image, fledgling creators. You are far, far more powerful than it was ever let be known. I'm here to remind you of this. Repeatedly if necessary. I'm here to guide you, to help you remember, and help you stop feeding the virus, aka evil. You must ask yourself, could what she is saying possibly be true? Please don't leave in judgment based on your programming. Try to connect with your inner innocence, the real you, before all the indoctrination and all the programming and all the trauma. Because this is a trauma-based system that we're living in when listening to this material. Anyway, happy Sunday to everyone. I have so much to share with everybody that it is crazy. I'm just like almost overwhelmed is a good way to put it, because not only am I being guided by Adonai and Gabriel, because they're both having input, Adonai much more of late, but Gabriel as well, plus my own digging, because that inner me that asked the question why never stopped asking, and it's still asking. Problem is, we have a huge problem here, because this is a trauma-based system that this place was hijacked, is the best way I can put it. It was never supposed to be like this. But because of this system that we're currently living in and have been for eons, so much has been tampered with, heavily tampered with, including all our ancient text. They suppress information in the ancient text. They suppress information in archaeology and anthropology, and in every fashion that they can to keep you from knowing the truth. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the truth. It's a difficult process. And I want to reach out to, I mean, I know a great deal, but I want to reach out to anybody out there that's in those fields: theology, archaeology, anthropology, um, anybody that's very well versed in the occulted knowledge, anything like that, because I would love to have a one-on-one conversation and contact, because I think it could not hurt at this point. I know a lot, but it's really hard to, you can imagine when you're looking at that many fields all at once. Not only that, I'm researching genetics and much more. So it's overwhelming, the task. So any help I can get in that reference would be greatly appreciated. Because what my mission is here is to help you all remember what you truly are. The other part is uncovering the truth. And more, much more. So anyway, so that's out there. So anybody that has any information in those regards, also anybody that has technical expertise in RF and EMF would be greatly appreciated, among other things. But anything that could be of significance to the mission at hand. So anyway, I hope you all are having a brilliant Sunday, and I hope your week was really good. Mine was really good, but at the same time, it felt short because there was so much information coming in, and there's a lot going on. And as you know, I don't normally look at the news. I hadn't watched a TV since 2005. So, and I steered clear of the news because those of us with this genetics tend to be, well, not tend, 100% of you are empaths, meaning you feel things other people likely don't notice or feel. Energy coming from other people. And the thing is, if you watch the news, it creates a tremendous amount of anxiety. And that's the virus at work. And some of what I'm going to be presenting today will kind of point at what's happening there. But anyway, I'm going to look at the chat and see how everybody's doing. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Miss Darla. Melmac, great to see you. Sir, my sky, good to see you too. There is, oh my gosh, so much going on. My head's reeling. I'm not even joking. It's okay. I manage to absorb it all, but sometimes it takes a day or two for everything to really kind of chink into place. It's like a grand puzzle, and these pieces are all kind of going chink, 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 chink into each other. So, because all this stuff is related, all these things, these topics, they're all related in every way. They wouldn't sound like they are, but they are indeed. And I was going to talk about the genetics a little bit and much more today. Anyway, I'm going to read to see if there's any questions or anything. Sargel 18. I am 333. Yeah. The news has a way of the virus feeds from negative energy, and those of us with those genetics particularly give off a great deal of energy, and they do feed from it. Sir My Sky here, stagehand. Smoke and mirrors, huh? That's awesome. That's funny. Hello, Chris. Anyway, I have so much stuff to share with you guys today. It's I wanted to talk about the genetics particularly, because some people may not, when they come to the channel, realize that this is about genetics with us, because we are, like I said, you are beings created in the image, and I'm not joking. The thing is, the thing that I have noticed is that people with this genetics seem to be, they tend to have higher IQs. They also tend to be empaths. They also exhibit other abilities. Some of them, the ones that have been drugged by the medical establishments, and the ones that are heavily indoctrinated, may not be aware or awake to all this yet. But if you follow the material, some things will start dawning on you, because some people, they're not aware of their abilities, or let's put it this way, many of you were shamed or made to feel weird that you had them. So you basically shut them down, because that's exactly what the virus wanted you to do, was shut it down. So those of us with this genetic code are basically under attack from every conceivable way that you can think of. Not only is there the regular indoctrination system that the entire general mass public is exposed to, and let's put it this way. People think, oh, I've never been part of a government project. I've never had anything like that happen to me. If you're watching a television or the movies or listening to music or been a participant in the vaccinations or anything like that, or went to a public school or even some of the private schools, you are part of a government program. People don't seem to realize that simply watching a television is a government program. It's all a psyop, the whole thing. A lot of people have trouble with realizing that, because then they begin to realize that their entire life has been a lie. The entire thing. That's hard to balance yourself with. But it's indeed happening, and it's been happening for a very long time. And the virus, aka evil, that has been running the show for a very long time is very good at what they do, and they have a playbook, and I try to point out that playbook to you all. So anyway, Miss Starlight, I feel like it's showtime. We need to wake up to our potential now. Yeah, it is. It's game time. No joke. And even the codes I'm getting are saying that. It's like this, one of the things it said is, this is not a game. No, it's not. It's not a game. This is like serious. Like, we need to get together and get this figured out quickly. So anyway, I've got a lot to share with you all today. I'm going to take a look at what I am going to share today and get. Okay, I was going to talk about our genetics a bit. And I already did that to some extent. Your genetics are under attack. If you even suspect you have MTHFR genetics, type it into a search engine. If you have abilities of any kind, or autoimmune disorders are very prevalent in people with that genetic code because it is under attack. And there's a reason it's under attack, because they're trying to keep us from being effective in combating the evil here, the virus, basically. And so I was going to share something with you, because part of the virus's game book is to tell the truth without people realizing it, because they'll do it right in your face and you just don't even notice it. But it's everywhere. And I'm going to do a share screen and start sharing some of what I have found. Someone else in the comments had brought up Metagene. And yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Anyway, I'll do a share screen and we will get off to the races here. All right. MTHFR Genetics. Now, when you pull up Metagene, so you get some very interesting results. If you look, one of the first things you see is something to do with DC Comics. And yes, this is part of the virus's playbook, because they have to tell the truth, even if it's twisted. And if you look at this over here on the right, a metagene is a unit of heredity found in approximately 12% of living human organisms. Now, this is DC Comics. Okay? But the thing is, the metagene is real. It's not just in the comics. It's actually a real thing. And when I was going through some of the things that popped up, this was a very pleasant surprise. And you all can do a search on Metagene and see what, look at all these different things. But it's a thing. It's actually, and it goes into polymorphism and a whole bunch of other things. I mean, like I said, our genetics are heavily under attack. So there's tons of autoimmune disorders and diseases that come along with this, because there's certain switches inside that genetic code that get flipped based on traumas. And those traumas can be surgeries, vaccinations, big pharma's medications, all kinds of things trigger that genetic code, including high levels of stress, which trauma, this is a trauma-based system. And so our genetic code is under heavy assault, and I'm not even joking. This isn't just a conspiracy theory. This is a fact. There's no denying it. You look at all the different ways it has been attacked via folic acid and the vaccinations and a whole, fluoride and a whole gambit of things going on there. And does it affect rest of the population? Yes. But those of us with this genetic code are highly affected by it. So, the whole Agenda 21 and the Georgia Guidestones, you must think about this. Must. If you put yourself in the shoes of the virus, if you wanted to rule the world, who would you get rid of first? Think about that. Who would you get rid of first? Would it be the ones that are easily manipulated? Or would you get rid of the ones that could cause you a great deal of trouble? Highly gifted, high IQ, people with abilities would be first on the list, I'm guessing. And that's where our genetics plays and is all part of this. Anyway, like I said, this one was a pleasant surprise. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a little digging and see if I can get in contact with the author of this because I was so excited when I saw this because I'm like, okay, somebody else is connecting the same dots I am, because that's one thing I am very good at, and that's connecting dots. I score extremely high in science reasoning. And I was told I should work for the CIA or the FBI, the virus, right? No, not working for the virus. Never did, never will. Do more good deeds. Secret society's biggest fear, the Metagene. Okay? Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, I'm not sure. I'm just going to read this. Prior to the ceremony, they grab an old black man off the street, blindfold him, and lead him in. This is your father. You must always keep him down. This is their number one mission. My number one mission is to rid this planet of evil once and for all. My mission is also to help wake you up to what you really are. And much else. But yeah, like I said, my mission's multi-pronged. The men in black phenomenon. Often when a person aligned with historical evidence approaches success or comes into possession of certain aspects of transcendent wisdom, something intervenes. That something has been identified as a visit from a man in black clothing. They do this to keep the masses asleep. Now, if you don't think you've been visited at night by other beings or entities, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but if you have MTHFR genetics, there's a good chance that you have, and you're just not aware of it because they are very good at, think of this. There's a drug called Versed that they use for surgeries. Versed keeps you from remembering. How convenient, right? There's other drugs that achieve that same thing, but Versed is the one they use today. So, like I said, I've studied these genetics. I know the medical system. I know drugs. I was pre-med when I got so sick I couldn't finish college. Definitely not stupid. Anyway, connecting dots. The success or failure of the visit is largely dependent upon the individual visited. Those which are marked by failure, lack the knowledge, these men in black are opposed by something else, something which is equally as strong, or they are afraid of something we might find out about them, about their opposition, or about ourselves, or possibly all three. Bingo, bango, all three. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Bingo, bango, all three. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. Anyway, our most important secret weapon, the metagene factor. The metagene is a biological variant lying dormant in select members of the human race, especially on planet Earth, until an instant of extraordinary physical and emotional overstress activates it. Excuse me, I might get another drink. Apparently, a latent self-preservation gene capable of producing seemingly superhuman abilities in Earth humans during times of extreme stress or crisis. What do I keep telling you all? You are much more powerful than you have ever been told. And they've tried to suppress that since you were born. That's an energo. Oh, my mouth doesn't want to work. Sorry. Energochemical in response to adverse stimuli. A chromosomal combustion takes place as the metagene takes the sources of biostresses, be it chemical, radioactivity, and yes, we're highly sensitive to EMF and RF, etc. Okay? I'm super hypersensitive to it. Radioactivity or whatever, and turns the potential energo response into a catalyst for genetic change. The main focus of the catalyst power is a gland in the middle of the human brain called the pineal gland. And the nutrient for increasing the pineal's action is the adrenaline. Many of you experience what feels like high amounts of anxiety. There's multiple reasons for this. And I don't know if I should get into all those right this minute, but if that resonates with you, trust your MTHFR. Anyway, the metagene factor gives the ability of psionic power. Psionic power. All right. The main interest of these secret organizations, which should also include big pharma. What did I just say? Big corporations. And you know what's funny is I only read the first paragraph in this, and I'm just now reading what you all are getting, okay? So synchronicity, right? Could she possibly be telling the truth, right? Could I? You must ask that question. Could I possibly be telling you the truth? All the 5 major companies, big corporations, and their subsidiaries, scholars, doctors, scientists, occult groups, etc., is to understand, test, experiment, and control the metagene. They're trying to control us and find ways to use it for their own race. Okay? I'm going to point out ways further into this that they manipulate you. Because like I said, you are fledgling creators created in the image of the creator. That makes you extremely powerful. And they've been manipulating you unwittingly to do their bidding. Okay? So here we go. Let's go on down here. They try to do this by conducting secret biological experiments, much like those conducted by the Nazis, to enhance their structure by using the genes of humanity. They believe these selected members of humanity are the deadliest creatures in the universe, and they are on Earth, hidden in plain sight, with natural psionics ability, real power. This is one of the reasons people are being controlled, energy harnessed by the Nazi NSA military industrial forces. So I find this interesting because here's somebody else that has come to the exact same conclusion I have. Okay? I really need to meet this person. I'm going to try to look them up. Anyway, we'll get on with some other things, but I thought I would share this with you. And, you know, something that's been coming up in my research that Ed and I pointed out to me was the Dead Sea Scrolls. Problem is, all the religious texts have been tampered with, including the Dead Sea Scrolls. And let me explain why I say this. If you look at my previous videos, and there's one I should do, but there is a guy that did transcriptions for the Vatican, and he said point blank that they alter the text when they're doing their transcriptions. If you also check into the Dead Sea Scrolls and the team of people that were deciphering and decoding those scrolls, there was a heavy Vatican influence going on there with that team. And there's some others that were on the team that spoke out and said that they were trying to cover up the truth about what those scrolls say. When I was a child looking at the Bible, King James Version, I knew instinctively something was wrong with those texts. I knew it immediately. First of all, there's many gods spoken of in that Bible. There's many sons of those self-professed gods in that Bible. There's many Satans. There's not just one. There's many Satans in that Bible. The Satans are the fallen. Okay? And yes, this runs the gambit from religion, money, politics, anthropology, archaeology. Everything you can conceivably think of is involved here. Everything. That's why it's very overwhelming when you're trying to piece together the whole puzzle. Okay? Because that's intentional, because they don't want you to know the truth. So anyway, so much to say in so little time. Because I do feel, I mean, I've been told, like Gabriel says it, TikTok, time's up. So we're working under the gun here, is a good way to put it. And that's not for an effort to cause fear, because that's the last thing you all should be doing, is feeling in fear. Knowing that you are indeed super special humans on this planet should empower you a great deal. And you definitely don't need to be in fear. Okay? So I'm going to get on to some other things that are that I wanted to point out that will help stress some of this to you all, and kind of point out some of the things going on. Like I said, I don't normally look at the news, but Gabriel and Ed and I have both been pointing me that direction, because there are things happening, really important things happening right now. Because like they said, TikTok, time's up. And that I had an encounter with a being back over 2 months ago now. And I encountered this being on 2 occasions, a few days apart. And based on ancient text, like I said, they've been heavily tampered with, but based on those texts, if I'm indeed who Adonai is pointing me out to be, then I launched the Battle of Armageddon over 2 months ago. So Gabriel's right. Time's up. TikTok is no joke. So we've got a lot of catching up to do and figuring out what we need to do from here. And I really need to enlist the help of others that are MTHFR that have done this research and maybe they're more specialized. I'm kind of like looking at all the different angles, and it's very overwhelming. So if I can get people that are specialized in certain fields, such as, you know, occulted knowledge, anthropology, etc., all the better, because we'll be able to put these puzzle pieces into place very quickly if I enlist the help of others. And I was being told I need to do that at this point, because it's so much information for one person to assimilate, basically. So anyway, I'll check the chat before I go on to the next thing and see how you guys are doing. Sir Tony, hi. Miss Seeley. Okay. Tell you what, I'll go over the chat at the end. Just know that another thing, because of being pointed at the Dead Sea Scrolls, because the Book of Enoch was the first thing that Adonai led me to. The Essenes. One comment I want to make. The Essenes were a combination of many races. That's why I'm telling you all, this isn't about white, black, Hispanic, or Orientals or anything like that. This is about us. This is about our genetics. This is about some very, very specific individuals on this planet. And we were born into various nationalities and races. So this is for everyone. I don't care what your background is. This is indeed for you if you have this genetic code. Because we quite literally are what could save everybody from this trauma-based system that's going on. Okay. Anyway, we'll go on to the next thing I wanted to point out. You know, I've done some talking about how the virus has started doing things like not recognizing the International Criminal Court system, because the International Criminal Court system put charges up against Israel, and they're not having that. And so they threw in their response to those charges against Israel from the International Criminal Court is the United States is not going to recognize the International Criminal Court, which is a entity that keeps countries honest. Okay? They're not going to recognize that. And they threw the Palestinian Liberation Organization out of their Washington, D.C. office in response. Not only that, but they started doing an agenda with the schools about anti-Semitic jargon, basically. And because that's their go-to thing, that is their go-to. Everything's anti-Semitic. It's the only country on this planet you cannot speak out against. You must ask why. You must ask that question. Why is it the only country that you cannot speak out against? And I've already tied the Vatican with Israel. And if you look back in history, the UK, via the Queen, was in Israel before it was given to them. Okay? And they are indeed ordained by God. Who's God, I'd like to know, as to be sitting on the throne. Okay? AKA the Vatican. These people are all tied to each other, and that's no joke. And it is the virus. All right? Anyway, some people noticed all this rhetoric coming out of DC. And then you have, of course, no, Trump doesn't have an anti-Palestinian agenda. Bet me. With all that going on, not recognizing the International Criminal Court, throwing them out of their offices in DC, and then all the anti-Semitic stuff that when they started wanting to put in place new policies in schools. What does that sound like? Can you equate that to anything else? Seriously, can you equate that to anything else? So I just wanted to point that out. Here's another article. U.S. is ending final source of aid for Palestinian civilians. Can you equate that to anything else? Please tell me. Seriously. It's all out war, and it's a spiritual war. What's going on right now? It is a spiritual war. That is no joke. Okay? And we're very involved because of our genetics. Okay? Now, the reason I have this pulled up is I want to show you how the news and television is manipulating the population. Remember, like I said, if you turn on a TV or you watch the news or listen to a radio, you are part of a government operation. It is a government psyop. No, I'm not kidding. Remember, I spoke to you all about the fact that you are very powerful, and they will manipulate you unwittingly into making natural disasters and things worse. Because you do have power, and combined, you are very powerful, okay? In a combined thing. So if you're all thinking about a hurricane, you can actually, and you're in fear mode because they want you to go into fear mode. Oh, this is going to be the biggest one of the century, blah, 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 and get you into fear mode. And you start projecting your thoughts there in mass. Guess what? That's exactly what ends up happening. And then people like me that are aware of our abilities and power have to fight like cats and dogs to try to reverse what's happening because you all are not aware that you're actually making something worse. But now that you listen to what I'm saying, do exactly the opposite of what they're trying to get you to do. Okay? Do exactly the opposite. Now I'm going to point out something to prove to you all what's happening here. So not only did they want to fear everybody about the hurricane, now we're going to start, because that didn't work quite as well as they anticipated, because guess what? That storm wasn't near what they thought it would be. I worked on it for 3 days straight, trying with atmokinesis, trying to adjust that. I was not the only one. I can't take full credit for that. There's many others that are awake that were working on that too, that have very, very good abilities. So anyway, so that wasn't entirely successful because what they were projecting was going to be much worse, and it would have been. Okay. But some of us that are awake helped prevent that. But then they start wanting to fear you. Oh, okay, that didn't work. 6 nuclear power plants are in the path. So let's traumatize everybody some more and try to get that going, okay? They just don't stop. The virus, it sickens me. They're games that they play. Weatherman braces for hurricane while two guys walk by as if nothing's wrong. Show this real quick. See how he's leaning and acting like it's horrible, horrible? See? Look at these guys in the background. All the world is indeed a stage. We are merely players. Ring a bell? They're acting. All those political people you see on TV, that's all an act. 100% an act. Because you go behind closed doors to their dinner parties, they're just laughing and cutting up and having a good old time. Those ones that just called each other every name in the book on TV. Not joking, they are the virus. They're working for the virus. Oh, and no, I have not reloaded my Windows yet. I hope to get that done early this week. I wanted to get through this stream. Anyway, because I have to replace a processor and yeah, all kinds of fun. So I'm going to be elbow deep in computer. Anyway, yes, I'm multi-talented technically too. When the need is there. Anyway, I thought I would share that with you all. They are actors. And no, I'm not joking. Then there's this little bit. Media bribed North Carolina residents to exaggerate Hurricane Florence. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up, okay? What I tell you all is the truth, 100%. Okay? I would never bring you anything but. And I hate bringing the news, but sometimes it takes that to prove a point. Anyway, there were residents that actually turned it down and reported that they were being bribed to do things like write SOS on top of their house and play up the hurricane. Okay? The virus, once again. And they weren't the only ones. There's multiple people that turned down. They were literally offered. One was offered 1,000. Another one was offered 700 by particular news agencies. Anyway, that TV is nothing but a government psyop, and the news is too. And yes, everybody's being programmed. Everybody. See? Interviewer offered 750 cash. So what you see is a lie, and it's all meant to take some very powerful fledgling creators and manipulate them into causing things to happen. They know about us. Like I said, they knew we were coming. They knew it. And man, have they done everything they can to manipulate, use us, and suppress us all at the same time. And looky here. Presidential alert FEMA to test emergency alert system next week. And the president is going to be in full control of this alert via his Twitter, I believe. Man, does he ever like his Twitter. And like I said, I exposed QAnon and the whole cult. Remind yourself, what did your sitting POTUS do prior to becoming president? Let's see. A show called The Apprentice, where they put together teams to carry out certain marketing agendas. Well, guess what? QAnon and the whole Ket cult is a marketing agenda organized by guess who? Yeah, it's not that hard to figure out. See, the thing is with us, with MTHFR, we're highly intelligent. We see through their bullshit. You know, the last code I got, the 333, and the one prior to that, the 444. Yeah, Gabriel gives me codes, and he uses gematria. He's having me use that. That way the codes, what they're trying to tell me, does not get dinked with by the virus. Okay? And Lacerabet keeps coming up. And it's very interesting because I'm doing some research into that. And if you look, he who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To the angel of the church of Philadelphia, write, these are the words of the one who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one will shut, and what he shuts, no one will open. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door, which no one can shut. For you have only a little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. I thought that was interesting because that popped up when the whole Lacerabet and the key of David popped up in my codes. And I just wanted to share with you. Like I said, my research goes in every direction, and it is quite overwhelming because I'm also getting codes from Gabriel, and he lives up to his name. He is the messenger. Yeah. Anyway, I thought those were interesting, and I'm still digging in that direction. And then it talks about the key of David here. It's found in Revelation and Isaiah, and it indicates control or authority. Therefore, having the key of David would give one control of David's domain, Jerusalem, the city of David, and the kingdom of Israel. Okay. Yeah. So there's that. Anyway, you know, we talked about the Vatican and the evil going on there, and the whole pedophile scandal that's going on where it's all being exposed. And the seeming, the Pope, I showed you in one of my previous videos, I think the last one, that the Pope is blaming Satan, that the church is under attack by Satan. That's interesting because there's many Satans, and he knows this. And what's even more interesting, the Vatican is all roads lead to Rome and is the head of the snake. And I've showed you that in prior videos. Now in the news, brothers and sisters of the mafia repent, Pope says in Sicily. They are a mafia. They are a mafia. You know, one thing that crossed my mind when I listened to Trump speak, he reminds me of a mob boss, and not a highly intelligent one either. Not some of the dumbest I've seen, but not super intelligent. That's what he reminds me of. And man, does he like his social media, doesn't he? And his cute little QAnon and Kek cult. Okay, some really bizarre things going on. This Sunspot, first of all, mainstream didn't even write anything about this for several days. It showed up in, sorry, somebody's car alarm's going off. But it didn't show up for days in mainstream until they felt like they had to put something out because it was being exposed. The Sunspot Solar Observatory is in New Mexico. And it was evacuated with Black Hawk helicopters and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Even the local law enforcement agents are not being told what's going on there. Now, there's some other synchronicities going on with this that I'm not ready to talk about yet. But as we know, and I've told you before, angels and demons, Satans, whatever, they are ETs of a sort. Okay. And I have had visitations from several types of beings. You can look at my previous videos where I document some of that. But yeah, some very interesting stuff going on with this and some bizarre synchronicity. Let's see. There is, and they're saying, no, it wasn't a giant sun flare, and no, it wasn't an alien. But yet that entire place is a ghost town, and they even shut down the post office. Something is going on up there. And, well, you know, just like the ancient text and anthropology and archaeology and all that stuff being suppressed, this is too. I think it's important. I got pointed to it. This is where that is located in New Mexico. It's on a reservation. I think where it's located has some significance. I'm still researching that. There is, and I'll leave a link in the description for this. There's a guy who actually went up there and went past the security tape. I don't know if you all saw this video or not. Tyler Rogaway. But I'll leave a link in the description. And his observations when he was up there, he was on foot with his son, and they walked all through the place. And it was like there was nobody there except for some other people that showed up like he did, curious what is going on here. You know, because when the local law enforcement isn't even being told what's going on, but there's Black Hawk helicopters and the FBI and everything else involved, and the place is evacuated, there's something big going on there. Okay. So I will put a link to that in the description after the stream. This is just a side note for you all's protection, because it's part of my job. I'm here to protect you. This BPA-free plastic that they touted as being safe is not. So you're better off drinking out of copper or glass is probably the two things I would pick. Not convenient because of, unless you can get something that keeps them from sweating in the summertime when you have a cold drink in it. But yeah, just wanted to point that out to you all, just a brief thing, because part of what I do is trying to protect you. Here's another thing on the protection factor. ASMR videos and how they affect your brain. And I'll put a link to this too. There's a lot of popularity around this because it actually affects the brain, but it has an opposite effect on some people. But I will put a link down in the description for you all so that you get to see that. And I would advise that you stay away from it because, yeah, it's just more of the virus going on. And it could quite likely damage you and stop your progression on that inner child work I keep telling you about, to reconnect with the real you, the real person inside. I think many of these things are designed to keep you from realizing your true potential. And I wanted to share this because it was kind of cute and interesting. The true nurturing and interesting interaction between animals in particular. But you can see this is a bunch of, let me pull it up. I'll actually pull it up on here. And from this above, this is a bunch of baby belugas, okay? And you see one here that looks like a beluga, sure enough, but it's a different color. And then when you get zoomed in on it, you can see it has the unicorn narwhal spear on the front of its little head. And it's been hanging out with this little narwhal this is his family. He's hanging out with the belugas. And they all accept each other just fine. Pretty fascinating, right? But I wanted to share that with you all because proof of what this place could really be. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing and look at the chat. Pretty cool, huh? On the whale. Very cool. Anyway, I'm going to look at the chat, see how you guys are doing. I know a lot of stuff I covered today. There's a lot going on. I'm going to back it up, and I tell you what, I will read over the chat after the stream's done, but if you have any particular comments or questions, if you could put them in now, that would be awesome. See, you guys are talking about water and distilling water. Yes, there is. Rocks, crystals do have significance. And I personally, I was always attracted. I actually collected rocks when I was a kid. But my knowledge there is not good. So if any of you have that sort of knowledge, that'd be awesome if you shared it with everybody. Yeah, Himalayan rock salt in your water for minerals. Yeah, Because of the MTHFR genetics, we're very bad about hydrating properly. And even when you drink a ton of water, many times, I think what happens there is something that's called third spacing. And the water actually isn't getting into the cells, it goes around the outside of the cells. And so you don't get full benefit like other people do because of your genetics. And you also will have bizarre problems with potassium and magnesium and calcium. So it's important to look into that to make sure you stay hydrated, because it can cause all kinds of things to go wrong if you don't. Let's see. Miss Seeley, I just wanted to tell you I'm in. That's awesome. Yes, the creatures of the planet are much more intelligent than they portray or have in the past. And those of us with this genetics communicate with animals quite well on a telepathic level. We read them. Many of you aren't even aware that you're doing it, but you are. If animals seem bizarrely attracted to you, there's a reason. They sense your energy and they read you too. Let's see. Question: when we exit, should we go to the light? I'm working on that, but the answer is no. I will answer that better down the road, but it depends on when you exit. If you exit before the big thing, no, you don't. Because, well, back in May, there was a decided victory. The forced reincarnation into this trauma-based system was put to a stop. So you wouldn't have to worry about that, but just to be on the safe side. You know how when you meditate and you go into the astral, you don't go into a tunnel of light that is complete BS. It's actually a tunnel of black. And then you pop out onto the astral. It's quite the opposite. The virus has done a very good job of inverting everything. So, and remember what I tell you, if you are meditating and you get stuck in a place that's black, you're in the tunnel. You just need to relax more. And that means letting every muscle in your body completely just melt. And then you'll get out of that blackness and you'll start feeling a sensation as you're relaxing of you moving forward through something. And that's a black tunnel. And you'll get a sense of the walls and things like that as you're moving out. Crystals are awesome. The thing with crystals is everything here is sentient, including those. And you can tell, like, if you're in a store shopping for crystals or you're out on a walk, something will catch your eye and there'll be a resonance with it that works for you. It's kind of like the frequencies with the binaural beats and solfeggio and all that. Certain ones will resonate with you and others won't at all. They'll actually rub you wrong. And definitely don't listen to those. If you feel weird at all listening to one, turn it off. Same with music, because music is heavily embedded People remote viewing have actually seen demons attached to music. So music can be a problem. And we tend to be music lovers. I know I am. Gabriel is, for sure. He really loves it. So, yeah, just kind of be on guard for that sort of thing. Yeah, definitely work on revoking soul contracts. Yeah, make your declarations. You are sovereign, 100%. They don't get to use you anymore. Yeah, I'm working on trying to get as much information as possible. One thing I want to stress, no fear of any kind. You are extremely powerful. You have nothing to fear. Yeah, so much stuff is inverted. That's true. That is so awesome, Miss Seeley. I love hearing you all talk about how your progression in this process, and it's fantastic. It's very good news. Thank you, sir, my sky. Um, yeah, a lot of people, it's, yeah, because there are things that are implants and not just the physical type. So be aware of that. I call, and there's other things that I call attachments that are kind of like um, an astral type implant into your light body, basically. Um, People can have demonic attachments uh, that are basically an implant. So, and you can go to somebody else to learn how to remove those, but you can indeed do it yourself. You have the power inside of you to remove those. And part of that, the declarations and removing soul contracts is very much a part of that. Yeah, there's some music you can literally feel something really, some energy coming from it that's not right. Yeah, you can feel it. Yeah, they do. And it's not just rock and roll, they embed it into other stuff too. Music that's supposed to help you relax, got to be careful. Yeah, there are some parasitic creatures that will make you have really bizarre dreams too, and make you feel weird about yourself, even try to make you feel uncomfortable. Because you'll get weird dreams that you're doing something that you would not do. That's them trying to make you doubt yourself. Good. I'm glad you're not afraid of the astral anymore. You don't need to be. You're extremely powerful. As long as you stand in that power, you got to know it deep inside. You have nothing to fear. Yeah, a lot of people see some of those energy attachments, the entities, as a lizard type being. Yeah, attached to the spine generally. And that can be up the neck, back of the head, all the way down. Oh, you're talking about Sirius. Yeah, that's another direction. Oh, like I said, I'm trying to get input from some other places that are more people that have concentrated and focused in one area to for them to come on and share information with us, share information with me, so kind of fast track us because, like Gabriel says, TikTok. So I'm trying to get us moving along as quickly as possible. But helping you all not feed into the virus's system is a huge benefit to the entire planet. Project nothing but love to the planet, upward, outward, to the other people around you. And it's hard because many of them have the virus very heavily embedded into them. And they will almost, in some cases, attack you even when your true inner self starts coming out. So be aware of that. Some of you have experienced that. Getting just bizarre, out of left field attacks from others, and they are definitely embedded with the virus. Don't let that dissuade you from your missions, okay? Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff that people were made to think were fairy tales and not real, like mythology, paranormal stuff, UFOs and stuff. It's real. it So the computer always does that. I don't know. That's my older sister's name, which is interesting. Synchronicity, maybe. Love you too. Yeah, not the animal lizards, a species. They're basically demons, aka demons, the Satans. Yeah, one thing that you guys could work on that might help is working on not letting things that look weird or odd to you make you fear. It's like I was talking to Sir Tony. He was having a huge problem with being afraid of ET contact. And it's probably because he has in the past and wasn't aware it happened. And so he already had an innate fear of ETs. And so that trauma would keep you from connecting from ones that are actually benevolent. So yeah, work on not being scared of things that look weird or unusual because, like I said, made in the image of the creator, you're very powerful, and none of that is as powerful as you are. So work on that. So any of you that have any because some of these things are weird and kind of scary to some of you to look at, desensitize yourself because they are indeed real. Yeah, there's good and bad ones out there. So anyway, I'll get links in the description here in a little while. So if you come back and visit the video, you'll find those for some of those things. And remember something. You are tiny snowballs that start an avalanche. Always remember that. So I think that's important. Like I said, if I sense a tipping point, okay? And I think that has a lot to do with what's going on here. A lot of people have a spider fear, but I think that that's an embedded fear, courtesy of the virus. Me personally, I think most of them are cute as can be. The only ones that kind of weird me out are some kind of crab-looking spiders. They're kind of, I'm not scared of them, but yeah, they're just, yeah, you know. But like the little hairy jumping ones, those are adorable. They're really cute. And I let, spiders that are, little house spiders that make little webs up in corners and things like that, I let them be, because they actually do more good than harm. But anyway, anybody that needs to contact me, my email link is in the description. It's on my about page on my channel, and it is criticalbreak@outlook.com. Anybody that wants to talk about their experiences, or anybody that has information to share with all of us to get us up to speed, would be greatly appreciated. And I do hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. There's so much going on. And so there'll probably be a stream, most likely before Sunday again. Trying to keep everybody caught up. Anyway, I hope you all do have a fantastic week, and love, tons of love and adoration from my inner innocence, the real me. From there, out past the stars and back a bunch of times. I love you guys. Okay? And keep doing that inner work. Keep connecting. You'll start having your memories. It's important. Anyway, talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.